Hey, we're getting a very special cockpit tour of a BAE146 from Neptune Aviation out of Missoula, Montana. And they're here at the Reno National Championship Air Races. They're at the Air Attack Base here at Reno Stead, and they're going to be repositioned here soon. So here's a great opportunity to check out this airplane before they have to split before the air races. So the BAE146, this particular unique system uses it's a constant flow drop system we'll go take a look at it, but this is also still a pressurized aircraft. So let's first take a look at this drop system computer right here. Conventional cockpit, and where's your drop switch? Right there?
That guy right there.
Right there.
We got one on each yoke. One on our tank panel here, and the emergency drop switch.
And the all-important emergency drop switch where any crew member position can reach it, and it'll open up all the valves. So this aircraft has a total of, well, it was designed with a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 valves. They're using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 valves currently, and we'll show you when we look out back there how that works. So here's where you set your coverage level. We always talk about coverage level, how thick you want the retardant based on the thickness of the vegetation. And out west here in the heavy timber, you're quite often asking for coverage level 8. Looks like they've been using coverage level 6 here on the Dixie Fire recently. This is a drop volume switch here, where if you want to drop your full load, there's full 3,000 gallons, or if you wanted to stop your drop at a half a load, 1,500 gallons, you could select it here, and it'll only release 1,500 gallons. But the preferred technique is generally leave it up here at 3,000 gallons, and then just stop the drop when it looks right, using the switch here based on what you're flying on ahead of the aircraft there. And that is that. What's this here? Gallons?
Yep.
Gallon indicator here.
That'll read out the gallons as well as the visual representation. Right
and there, yeah. So this will, as you drop, as the retardant leaves the aircraft, you'll see the lights change on that overhead panel indicator here. But otherwise, this aircraft is still a standard category aircraft, full IFR pressurized, and full de-ice or full known icing capability as well. Pretty standard overhead panel with all your different systems and your engine shutoffs. Now, in the old days, we used to tease these things as being 4 engine fires held together by a common electrical fault. But is that no longer the case on these 146s?
Nope, they've been running pretty good for us, especially Tanker 12. She's been my baby,
yeah.
And no issues to speak of it this year.
Excellent. Let's go look at this tank system back here. So this is the 3,000 gallon tank. This puts it in the LAT, large air tanker category. This tank is not necessarily pressurized. However, you can pressurize the aircraft and subsequently pressurize the tank. And I'll explain how that works in a minute. But here's one of the 6 valves. There's 2 of these valves here in the front of the aircraft, and there's 3 more behind the aircraft. So the constant flow tank system means the doors, well, let me back up here. The doors vary the opening size to give you that consistent coverage level. And this amazing computer here is the brains behind the operation, and it takes a lot of data, including airspeed, altitude, and a lot of different inputs, plus the inputs that you gave it from the cockpit to move those doors so that you get that constant flow from the beginning of the drop where you got a lot of head pressure on your load to the bottom of the drop where you don't have a lot of head pressure. Get those doors wide open for you. Minimum trail off. So when the retardant starts leaving this tank, these big old toilet valves here open up, because of course as the retardant leaves the tank, it's going to be displaced, and it's got to take in air. So that takes in air there. So if the aircraft was pressurized, that would help push things along. But also we got these blow-by valves right here. So when the tank is dropping, you'll hear these valves rattling. And of course that just opens up to the outside to bring in more air to replace the displaced air from the tank. There's your pressure bulkhead in the back of the aircraft. And then the back of the tank, there's another toilet bowl valve opening there, and then 2 more. We'll go look down below. There'll be 2 more valves down below. Here's how she looks from the outside. You'll remember Neptune Aviation and this famous logo here. Of course, these were the guys running the P2Vs, Neptune aircraft for years, 2 turning, 2 burning, the 2 jet engines and the 2 recip engine aircraft, which have since been retired and are in the museum. So here's one of these valves right here, for example, at the bottom of the aircraft where the retardant comes out of. And they're lined up all the way down the aircraft. So here's the reloading point on the 146, and they've got another one over here. So depending on which way they pull into the base or which way the base is configured, they only run one hose at a time. 3,000 gallons, takes about 15 minutes to turn the base. But a full load of fuel is about 14,000 pounds with a full load of retardant, 3,000 gallons. And that's about as much as you want to take in this aircraft. But what they can do is they can fuel and reload retardant simultaneously. So on these hot days in these mountain airports, they can go with a much lower fuel load and just add a little fuel at each time that they take on retardant and still turn the base in about 15 minutes, keep their weights lower, keep their safety margin up, keep their drop speeds a little bit slower, making for better, more accurate application of the retardant. So a lot of flexibility here with the 146. One thing the 146 doesn't have is thrust reversers. So they got a large degree of spoilers, a great set of brakes, and the split tail drag device right here on the tail that splits open on landing. And they also use that. You'll see this split tail open on the drops as well. More correctly called an air brake. I should have known that. The BAE146 large air tanker, 3,000 gallon capability. This is tanker 12, tanker 1-2, Neptune Aviation based out of Missoula, Montana. And right now today, they're waiting for another dispatch here from the Reno Air Attack Base. The rest of the air attack base is located right over there, just past the jet and the Stoll corral. Looks like tanker 167's here, plus 2 single engine air tankers. Thanks, Joe. That was great.
No problem.
See you here.